Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome back to Who'd Win and Why. And this time we've got Mega Man X going up against Blue Beetle. Now, both of these two blue superheroes are chock full of technology, and they both use it really well to their advantage in terms of physical combat. But it's time for me to decide who I feel would win in a one-on-one battle to the absolute end between these two characters. So, who'd win and why? Let's find out! So first I'm going to talk about Mega Man X. Now some of you guys who aren't that familiar with the Mega Man franchise, or you don't even really know who Mega Man is at all, might be wondering, so are Mega Man and Mega Man X actually two different robots, or are they the same robot? You know, what's really the difference between the two? And if you do have questions like that, let me clear it up right now. Yes, these are two different robots, and it's generally been regarded that Mega Man X is more powerful overall than the regular Mega Man. Mega Man X is stronger, he's more powerful, he's faster, he's more durable, and everything like that. And believe me, we've seen the regular Mega Man do some pretty ridiculous things. So now it's time for me to talk about the even more ridiculous things that Mega Man X can do. So first let's talk about Mega Man X's strength. So in terms of strength, he has been stated to be stronger, it has been stated that he is stronger than Proto Man. And Proto Man is able to lift up an entire fortress with one arm. And if that's not enough for you, his striking power has been stated to be solar system level. And you can interpret that in any way you want, but just those two statements alone can already tell you that Mega Man X has an absurd amount of physical strength. And in terms of his speed, it's even more ridiculous, as he's massively faster than light. And that's on the ground and in the air, considering that Mega Man X can fly on his own, unlike the regular Mega Man. Yeah, on ground or in the air, he's able to move at massively faster than light speeds. And he's able to escape black holes, which, you know, enforces that even more, considering that even light hasn't been able to escape the gravitational force of a black hole. And even better, his mind can think as fast as he moves, which makes him a beast in combat in terms of combat speed, because his reflexes can actually match how fast he's going. So we can fight at the speed of light, massively faster than light speeds as well, which is pretty impressive if you ask me. Now in terms of durability, there's actually a few things to talk about here. His interior skeleton is actually made out of something that allows him to only take in 7% of all damages taken in, if that made any sense. But that's amazing. If you're blocking out 93% of all damages shot for shot, that gives you a lot of durability and a lot of endurance. That really makes you durable, and that's just the interior part. The exterior armor is actually made of a titanium X alloy. Now, I'm not exactly sure how durable that is. I'd have to assume it's like stronger and lighter than titanium, considering every fictional universe has that now. But he's also been stated to have solar system level durability, again with the solar system thing. So that really proves that his durability levels are not something to gloss over either. They're up there with the strength and speed, and he has been able to take very powerful hits from very powerful opponents. So yes, he is very durable, as well as he is strong and fast. And in terms of his stamina or endurance, it's really all dependent on how much solar energy he's got stored inside of him, because he relies on solar energy in order to do what he does. However, I'm going to talk more about that in the weaknesses section. Let's talk more about his abilities. So Mega Man X has been on like a lot of different journeys, and in turn, he's collected a lot of different weapons and abilities. Now, it's going to take too long to list all of them, so I'm not going to list every single one, but I'm briefly going to go over some of the ones that I feel are important to say, or some of my favorites and stuff like that. So let's get right into it. So first of all, he has his X-Buster. He has two of them. Like, that's basically like the arm cannons. He also carries around a Z-Saber, and if any of you don't know what that is, that's basically the thing that Zero carries as his main melee weapon. What else does he have? He's also got manipulation over gravity, souls, time. He can also turn invisible or intangible. He can survive underwater or in space. He can also create force fields, and he can also create black holes with an output dwarfing supernovas. That's a ridiculous amount of power right there. Now, whether or not you want to consider them a black hole scientifically, you know, that's a bit up for debate, but that's not the point. The point is this guy is ridiculously powerful and ridiculously versatile, because everything I said there, that's not everything that he has. He can do much more than that. In fact, some of the stuff I forgot to mention, he can shoot out ice that's colder than, not colder, it's absolute zero, so absolute zero ice, and he can shoot fire that's hotter than the Earth's core, and the Earth's core is really freaking hot. So yeah, he's very versatile. He has a lot of variety that he can choose from. And to add on to his versatility, he also has collected different armor parts, or power-ups, if you will, that can enhance his own abilities. Now, I'm not really sure how convenient it would be for him to use these, and again, there's just too much to list, you know, to list all of them. So this part of this video is going to be pretty short, but just know that he has a lot of different armor parts, and they can do a variety of different things. They can enhance his strength, his speed, his durability, his damage intake, his power levels, and it can also give him new abilities, which again just adds to his ridiculous versatility level. And in terms of his intelligence, he's not, I don't want to say he's not the most intelligent because that implies that he's dumb, but he's not overly intelligent, but it has been shown that he is a relatively quick learner, and he can adapt to combat situations very quickly, which makes him an above average strategist. So he's not ridiculously smart, but he's still pretty smart, all things considering. Now, in terms of his weaknesses, he doesn't really have that many exploitable weaknesses or easily exploitable weaknesses, but like I said, he does rely on solar energy. Much like Superman, he absorbs solar energy and stores it, which is essentially what powers him and allows him to do what he does. And he can even, like I said, he can store solar energy for, like, if he's in a place where he can't easily access more solar energy, but if it gets to the point where he's used up all of it, he's as good as dead. He can't really do anything anymore. So yeah, his stamina, but not just that, you know, his strength, speed, and durability, everything he does is completely dependent on if he has enough solar energy to do those things. However, Mega Man X is still ridiculously powerful. He gets a lot of versatility from all the missions that he's been on and all the weapon parts that he's collected and everything like that, and his strength, speed, and durability is just ridiculous. If you thought that the regular Mega Man was ridiculously powerful, you ain't seen nothing yet, because X marks the spot on true power and true superiority. Alright, now let's talk about Blue Beetle. So obviously there are two different parts to Blue Beetle. There is the man part, which is Jaime Reyes, and the machine part, which is the extraterrestrial Scarab. Now the Scarab essentially is permanently bonded to Jaime as it's connected to his nervous system, and it's what provides the awesome suit, which gives him a lot of physical enhancements, and it also gives him all the different weapons that Blue Beetle has. The Scarab also has a mind of its own, which means that it can telepathically talk to Jaime, so only Jaime can hear what the Scarab is saying, and he also talks in a way that Jaime can understand him, and it also gives him access, like I said, to all the different weapons that he has. Whenever Jaime wants to pull out a weapon, the Scarab will do it for him. So, essentially, most of the time, Jaime is in control of the suit. However, if the Scarab feels that it is necessary, he can take over and use the suit even without Jaime's command and use some of its weapons. But most of the time, Jaime is in control of the suit, and the Scarab just, pulls out the weapon whenever Jaime wants to. So now let's talk about the strength, speed, and durability and everything like that. So in terms of physical strength, this guy gets a huge boost in strength. He's able to catch an entire truck just with one arm. That's the way of the truck, the fact that he's catching with one arm, and the fact that it's being thrown. That is a ridiculous strength feat. And not only that, he's able to hold apart the fists of Giganta. And for those of you who don't know who Giganta is, she's essentially a Wonder Woman villain that is huge, like a giant, Giganta. And if she's supposed to be able to prove a match for Wonder Woman or give Wonder Woman a challenge, she must be really freaking strong. So the fact that he's able to hold apart her fists for any amount of time is a ridiculous strength feat. In terms of speed, obviously he gets an agility and speed, enhancements. He gets those enhancements after wearing the suit. And he can also fly as he has wings. That's one of his many weapons that he has. But where he really shines in speed is his jet propulsion. His jet propulsion, while it does sacrifice a lot of maneuverability, it can fly ridiculously fast. If he's using it in combat, then it does mean he's able to fly around in the air much faster than a lot of opponents would be able to keep up with. And, it is great for traveling as well. So it's not ridiculously fast, but, the jet propulsion does allow him to go much faster than he would be able to on the ground, obviously. And in terms of his durability, the Scarab can take in a lot of punishment. It is completely bulletproof, and it can survive extremely hot temperatures and extremely cold temperatures. But that's not even the half of it. Jaime is able to fall from orbit, survive atmospheric re-entry, and get back up. So if he's able to survive that with relative ease, just think about the maximum durability or the maximum force that this Scarab would be able to take in. And he's also able to take ridiculously powerful hits from characters such as Black Beetle and even Lobo. Lobo, for those of you who don't know, is a bounty hunter that bounty hunts Kryptonians. So if he's able to take punches from him, that's a pretty durable Scarab. And obviously he does get enhanced stamina, which means he's able to fight for a much longer period of time than a regular person would be able to without using the Scarab. Now let's talk about his abilities. So much like Mega Man X, this guy has a lot more abilities. I'm not really going to be, or not a lot more abilities than the average person has, or the average superhero, so I'm not going to be able to go over all of them, but I will go over a few of them, you know, briefly, just so this part doesn't get too long, even though I've already rambled for a bit, so it's pretty long already. But let's talk about it. So, he can scan his opponents, he can track anything that produces energy, he also has arm cannons, sorry, not arm cannons, like energy cannons, which are from his arms, and energy boasters. He also has force fields, you know, and he can also create tiny, energy constructs, such as, like, chains, and like I said, shields and stuff like that, which is really cool. He also has antagonist adaptation, host reconfiguration, and armor reconfiguration, which gives him a lot of different abilities. Like I said, he does have energy abilities, but he can also change his arms into or hands into claws, and his limbs into, like, foot-long blades, which is really awesome. Also, like, a sword and a shield and a grappling hook, and that's not even the half of it. Like I said, you know, this guy has a lot of different abilities, and the Scarab can do a lot of things for him. So like I said, you know, if he wants blades, he gets blades. So that's a lot of versatility for you. He's not going to be running out of tricks anytime soon, because the Scarab can always pull out something new. So yeah, that's in terms of his versatility. In terms of his actual, like, power output, the Scarab, according to his own calculations, has said that it does have a lot of weapons of mass destruction, and it even has a weapon that can destroy a planet. I'm not sure if we've actually seen Blue Beetle do this, but it is according to the own Scarab's calculation, and no one would know what the Scarab is capable of better than the Scarab. So I'm pretty sure that Blue Beetle would be able to destroy a planet if he wants to. That's a lot of power. And in terms of his intelligence, like, I mean, Jaime has an artificial intelligence with him on his back, which can allow Jaime to notice things, you know, on the battlefield, things that would be important. And obviously, two heads are better than one, and one of those heads is an artificial intelligence, which would be very intelligent. And now, in terms of his weaknesses, he doesn't have that many exploitable weaknesses. One of the main things you might be able to point out is that, you know, Jaime himself, you know, he might be a cockier hero just because he is younger than most of the DC heroes, but he does have the Scarab to overcompensate for it and keep him back on track. They might argue sometimes, but, you know, again, it does Jaime might be a bit impatient sometimes, but still he has the Scarab to overcompensate for it. Another big thing, though, is that the Scarab doesn't really understand magic that well. Sometimes it can defend from it, but it doesn't really understand it, and that does mean that it can be hard to defend from it because it can't really come up with any sort of combat strategies in order to, you know, get rid of it or to counter it, I guess I should say. But regardless, Blue Beetle is still a very powerful hero that should not be underestimated. He has a lot of abilities, his physical enhancements are ridiculous, and these do turn him into a real superhero. And if you weren't afraid of beetles before, trust me, you would be afraid of beetles if you had to fight this one in a one-on-one battle to the death. Alright, so now that I've gone over both of these characters, now it's time for me to say who I think would win in this battle. And I'm not going to try to beat around the bush here. I do find this battle pretty obvious. If you do disagree with me or anything, or if you have, like, other things that I didn't bring up that you think would change the outcome of the battle, please tell me in the comments below, because I would like to know. I don't really know everything about any character that I put on the show. This is just my own opinion. So again, tell me in the comments below. However, I do definitely feel that Mega Man X would be the winner of this fight. And again, if you disagree, if you think Blue Beetle would win, that's perfectly fine. Tell me why in the comments below. But here's why I think Mega Man X will win. First, looking at their strengths. Or not their strength, you know, their strength value, their lifting strength, their striking strength, everything like that. So Blue Beetle is very strong. Being able to catch a truck with one arm is nothing to gloss over. A pickup truck can weigh as much as 5 tons, and being able to catch it, you know, with the impact force alongside that, with one arm is a ridiculous strength feat, and holding apart the fists of Giganta, that's also ridiculous. However, just the fact that we see that Mega Man X has solar system level striking strength, that's something that Blue Beetle would not be able to keep up with. Like, Blue Beetle's not the type of character that would be able to, you know, rival a solar system with a single punch. You know, he's not that kind of hero. And, you know, being able to be stronger than a guy that can lift a fortress with one arm with relative ease, that's also very impressive. So again, I don't really like that there aren't that many numbers here, but just from those statements alone, you can tell that Mega Man X is just on a completely different tier than Blue Beetle is. And in terms of speed, it's not much better. In fact, arguably, it's worse. Because Blue Beetle is very very fast. On the ground, he's not that fast. Obviously, his fastest is when he's using his jet propulsion. However, in all honesty, I wouldn't really pin that jet propulsion as anything better than supersonic, hypersonic at best, which I believe is around Mach 5 speeds. Whereas we've seen that Mega Man X can go at speeds that are ridiculously faster than light. And not only that, to make things worse for Blue Beetle, when Blue Beetle is using this jet propulsion, he's sacrificing so much maneuverability. It's not easy for him to fight while doing this because his human reflexes would not be able to keep up with being able to travel at Mach 5 speeds, which again, I wouldn't really pin him much more than that. Maybe Mach 10 or something, but definitely not up to massively faster than light. But even if I was generous and saying that he was at the speed of light, which is still slower than Mega Man X and is definitely far beyond what I think Blue Beetle can do, he wouldn't be able to fight at that speed. He wouldn't, because he doesn't have the reflexes to keep up with it. Whereas we've seen that Mega Man X does have the reflexes to keep up with it, as he can think at that speed and move at that speed, not just on his legs, but with his arms as well. So, that kind of sounded weird, but you guys get what I'm saying. Blue Beetle is much slower than Mega Man X, and Mega Man X is actually able to fight at those ridiculous speeds, whereas Blue Beetle simply just doesn't have the reflexes to be able to keep up with it. So speed, he's definitely outclassed there, Blue Beetle. And in terms of durability, well, obviously there's the whole thing, that Mega Man X is only taking in 7% of the overall damages, which obviously makes him much more durable than Blue Beetle, but also when you look at the things that they're supposed to be able to survive, sure, Blue Beetle would be able to take very powerful hits from very powerful opponents, and he's able to survive atmospheric re-entry with relative ease, but again, just the whole thing that Mega Man X has solar system level durability, being able to survive what a solar system can survive, again, that's just far beyond Blue Beetle's level. And I don't have a lot of numbers for this, but again, it is what it is. He's able to survive, they're both able to survive very powerful attacks and very powerful blunt forces, but again, just the fact that Mega Man X is supposed to be that kind of character where he can survive things that could destroy solar systems, Blue Beetle is just not there. He's not on the same level. So I definitely don't think he's as durable as him. In terms of versatility, this one's kind of interesting, because I want to say that this one's a lot closer than strength, speed, or durability, this category, simply because I don't think either of them would really run out of tricks during the battle. However, I do want to say that Mega Man X is more versatile, because I feel that overall, he has more variety than Blue Beetle does. First of all, when I talk about the things that Blue Beetle can do and what the Scarab gives him, a lot of those things aren't really in terms of offensive attacks. Like, scanning your opponent can be useful, but it's not really offensive. And a lot of his offensive attacks are either energy attacks, or, maybe turning his body into, different weapons. And, that is great and all, but it really doesn't add a lot of variety to him. Whereas Mega Man X, he can manipulate time, gravity, souls, he can shoot out ice, he can shoot out fire, he has force fields, so does Blue Beetle, but that's not the point. The point is, I just feel that while both of these characters are very versatile in their own rights, I feel that Mega Man X has more versatility to his versatility, if that makes any sense. He has more variety than Blue Beetle does overall. A lot of what Blue Beetle can do, is energy attacks and, melee attacks and different sorts of weapons. But Mega Man X has a lot more weapons, I feel, that can do different things. So I feel, he's just gonna always have something up his sleeve that Blue Beetle won't be expecting. Whereas, I feel Blue Beetle's approaches might get a bit repetitive, as he has a lot of the same types of stuff, if that makes any sense. And last but not least, we have power output. This one is obviously no contest. According to the own Scarab's estimation, Blue Beetle would be able to destroy a planet at best. And that is very powerful, but it's not, you can't really compare it to a black hole, if you want to call it a black hole, that has an output that can dwarf a supernova. Again, a supernova is a star exploding. We know that, you can fit over 1 million Earths inside our own sun. And, that exploding, a supernova, you can't compare to that. Someone like Blue Beetle, that would be at best destroying a planet. You can't compare that to someone that could, that can create a black hole that has an output dwarfing a supernova. You just can't do that. And also in terms of experience, I'm going to do this very quickly. I want to say Mega Man X has more experience, or at least he has more experience fighting more powerful opponents, simply because, again, in order for Mega Man X to actually, have challenges in his stories, he's going to need to fight ridiculously powerful opponents that give him a challenge. And because we know that Mega Man X can do ridiculous things, I feel that his opponents would have to do ridiculous things. Whereas Blue Beetle, you know, giving him a challenge, but still allowing him to have a fair shot of winning, you know, the writers, I feel like he wouldn't be fighting as powerful opponents, if that makes any sense. Maybe I lost some of you there, but that's really how I see it. So overall, both of these characters, you know, they're both powerful in their own rights, but when you look at what these characters are supposed to be able to be capable of, it's just no contest. Mega Man X has ridiculous speed, strength, and durability measurements. You know, he's, you know, solar system level. He's essentially a solar system level character, being able to, you know, like, strike with the power of solar systems, or, you know, if that makes any sense. Whereas Blue Beetle, you know, he's just not supposed to be able to do that kind of thing. And while there are categories where these two characters are fairly even, such as intelligence and fighting ability, I feel that Mega Man X's ridiculous strength and speed advantages would be able to finish off Blue Beetle far beyond he would run out of solar energy. So, in my opinion, the winner is Mega Man X. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you didn't enjoy it because, you know, it was pretty one-sided, I completely understand that. Also, I didn't really put in a lot of numbers or anything like that to back up my arguments. But again, I just don't really feel that I need to. If you guys know these characters, you know that Mega Man X is just fighting people, and, you know, he's just doing things that isn't on Blue Beetle's level. You know, Blue Beetle is a much more grounded character and has very clear limits that aren't supposed to be past, you know, planetary, and that's planetary at best. Whereas Mega Man X is just doing things that's on another level, you know, especially in terms of speed and strength and durability. It's much beyond what Blue Beetle can do. But if you do think that Blue Beetle would win, then please tell me in the comments below, because I'd like to know. I'd like to know your reasoning, and maybe I missed something, you know, that would change the whole battle entirely. That would change my verdict. Who knows? You know, just tell me in the comments below if you feel a certain way. And if you did enjoy this video, please give this video a huge like. I always appreciate the likes. Comment down below what you thought of it, what I missed, you know, what I got wrong, you know, anything like that, you know, what you thought of the video, anything you want to comment down. And if you could subscribe to my channel, guys, that'd be so great. That would really help my channel out, and I would love to have you guys along for the ride. Also, you know, if you want to suggest future episodes of Who Would Win and Why, again, you know, leave them down in the comments below, because I'd really like to know what you guys want to see. But your view is plenty of contribution anyway, so thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And next time on Who Would Win and Why, whenever that video may come out, it's going to be Thor versus Shazam. See you all then.